Well, I think one of the nice things too about like a Rotoboss is that it's going to be a lot more consistent as far as QA goes, because all of those Chinese rotaries they're different. They have different tolerances and different dimensions. Even ones that look similar, end up being different, and designs end up having to be adapted. Like if you buy a part for a fixture that's for the Rotoboss Talon, you don't need to like hope your Talon matches the one the part was designed for. They're just gonna fit, and that's gonna be really nice too.
It's their mating thing.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Laser Source Podcast, the number one podcast if you like death spins. We're here with Jason from Rotoboss. What's up, man? How you doing?
What's going on, everybody?
I like you got your festive little backdrop going on there. You're like ready for the holidays. What's up?
Yeah, man, we got, well, I don't know if you can see them all, but got all the different rotaries as the reindeer, and then we got the boot as Rudolph since it's red,
Nice. I don't want to hang the fruit in front of people, which I usually do. So let's just break right into it. Is this little video ready to go? Can we show this off real quick? Yeah. All right. Let's play that. Check this out, guys. Oh, baby. Pretty. I heard somebody made you spend some money on a new camera.
Who, me?
Is that true? Yeah.
You talking about me, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about you. Yeah.
Oh, no, I've had that camera. I did. Yeah. No, I finally got somebody that can do my videos for me. So,
yeah, I was literally right before we came into the chat. I was telling him, if you guys are following, or if you're not following Jason, go follow him. But like the last couple of videos you made, the production value's like gone up, and like it's really nice photography, good lighting and stuff. I was like, man, look at this! This freaking looks nice.
Are those posted on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, Rotoboss rotary attachments.
Nice. We should make sure we get Cal. Can you throw a link to that?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I got one of my guys. It was like a hidden gem. I was getting ready to hire someone to do videos and stuff, and my shop manager was like, "Hey, so and so actually does video editing." I'm like, "Really?" Because I knew he did animation.
Yeah.
But I didn't know he actually did like full on kind of video editing.
Yeah.
So I've just kind of gave him free range. This one right here is really cool. Those two side by side, the one with the face, the girl like, and then the one to the left of
these
it.
two right here. Yep.
Those two are pretty funny. The one on the left's more like a, I'll let you.
Fun detail. What's the fun detail? Oh, nope. All right. Well, now you've earned the right to be. You're having your tab closed. That's what you get. I'm out. Look, guys. Jason only has 357 subscribers on his YouTube channel. Over 100 videos, dude. That's kind of crazy. What the heck do you post on your channel? What's over there?
Just a lot of stuff. Now that we've kind of got the shop squared away and I got people in place to do the stuff that I would normally do.
Yep.
It's freed me up to do a lot more videos, and
nice.
Basically all the newer stuff you've seen is one, kind of getting used to being in front of a camera, and two, giving my video guy a chance to kind of experiment with some stuff, kind of giving him free range on that. So, but come the first of the year, I plan on having a lot more like tutorials and stuff on our rotaries, because as much as people like to pretend, our rotaries aren't like all the others. They're geared different. The wheels are different. Everything's a little bit different. So, your traditional way of doing things is not the right way.
Right.
Granted, you can make it work the way it's been working, but I want to kind of set the record straight with some of the stuff like that and go over each, have a video for each individual rotary going over all the details, the kind of maintenance, a lot of the stuff that I should have done a long time ago, but with being busy doing stuff, I just haven't had a chance.
Probably save your ass on some support too, because you can just be like, actually, we have a video on that, which I love to say. I say that all the time. And when people, ask a specific question for the 12th or 15th or 25th time, then it's time to make a video, and you can get the video up on there. And that's that's really helpful. So if you guys haven't already subscribed to that, go sub. I'm sure Kyle has already done adding the link. Is that accurate? Yeah. So it's down there.
Well, the other nice thing too is like that's where you get some good scoops on like what's coming out. Like you kind of get some hints and stuff like that if you keep your eyes on it. So whenever I log in for for the day, since I work at YouTube now, it's like I see all the stuff and I'm like, ooh, what's coming out next?
Yeah. What? Just because I'm just now realizing the people listening to the audio version of this down the line heard some really cool American rock music and then nothing. So what did we just watch? What was that trailer? Can you talk about it a little bit?
So the trailers for the Talon that we just released for pre-sale, it's just kind of showing like a brief rundown of its adjustments and things like that, how it functions, how it looks. Right. On the YouTube channel, there's a more detailed, it's about 15 minutes long, but it's a pretty detailed video that goes into the weeds with, how it works and, what we kind of put together as far as, how it functions and, what it does and how it does it. With the 4-jaw chuck, obviously it's something new. At least in the laser community, it's a woodworking tool for the longest time. But with the self-centering 4-jaw chuck, it's just a lot better machine, and you'll see more stuff coming out. Katie Devlin's got the prototype right now that she's doing some final testing for me because I've tested it here, but I thought it would be best to have it in the hands of somebody that does a lot of different stuff and can kind of put it through the paces, because obviously, like anything else, if you write your own paper or article or whatever, you're going to overlook things, you're going to misspell things, you're going to the grammar, things like that. So I kind of figure giving it to somebody to let them put it through the paces.
You know how to fix it too. Like if something's going off or it's weird, it's easy for you to figure out fast, but like what about your average person?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just to catch things that I may have missed. I mean, I put a lot of detail and time into making it. Like we re-engineered the chuck there, so it's got nearly 2 inches of travel. So with the jaws fully closed, like it is in that picture right there at the top, from that position to fully open, you get about 1 3/4 ish travel. So you can do a lot wider variety of things without having to reposition the lugs there that grab onto the cup or whatever you're putting in there.
This must be a new website too. This website's looking sharp, dude.
Yeah, we just had that built.
Super fresh.
Few months ago.
Told you, man.
So I was just before the show, right before the show, we were talking about the Daredevil rotary Ascend Talon combo. Can you tell us a little bit about what that is? So,
obviously the Ascend we've had out for about 6 months or so now, and the chuck was designed initially to work with the Ascend as a dual combo. So you'd have your roller on one side, the chuck on the other.
Right.
That's what the original design was meant to be. But by happy accident, we figured out that it will work with the Junior or the Rotoboss as well, just by replacing the end cap on the slave wheel side of the rotary with the mount plate for the chuck.
Right.
So it'll work on any one. The main reason it was made for this one is because there's no towers, so you're not limited. So like say you have a big ice bucket or some kind of little drum or something like that, you wouldn't be able to do that with a tower because the tower would be in the way. Whereas with this, if you needed the support, which you really don't, you can use it if you need to. We have a video in there too of it just spinning a 2.5 pound glass mug on the chuck, and it doesn't slip or move. So the support's like a band-aid for bad design, in my opinion, but there's just a lot more stuff thought up, I guess, to make it better, or as good as I can foresee it right now. I got there's a bunch of extra stuff that's going to be coming for different gripping abilities on different objects and types of stuff, but for now, it'll serve the purpose. Is there anything that this configuration won't work on, like that it's just too big for, or will this fly on anything? Machine wise, that combo is probably best suited for something with at least 24 inches of width on the bed. Like the Nova 24, it'll just barely fit, and I don't think it's going to function properly as it is. So it's more of a width situation than a height situation. Yeah, pretty much. I'm obviously like the Thunderbolt and stuff, or like the Miras or something like that, it's not going to work on. I mean, the chuck will, the standalone chuck, which is the second picture in the little menu there. So it'll come with the chuck and the extended base with the magnet feet and all that stuff, just like everything else we have. That will fit in like your Mira. It'll fit in the Thunderbolt, which are the smaller lasers. Also the Nova 24, and some of your other smaller OM Techs and things like that. And when we're talking about chucks, I mean, like a lot of people's minds go straight to Galvo machines. Have you done any Galvo testing on these? No, but I know Katie's been doing some cross hatching on CO2, which would be pretty much the same thing. Once I get it back, I'm actually taking a trip to Australia next month to visit with some business partners down there, or business contacts down there, and I'll be taking that with me. And once I get back from that, then I'll definitely be doing some fiber setup and testing. But for the most part, I mean, it's going to work on anything. I mean, it's not a matter of if, it's just I haven't put it on one yet for full testing. So stepper motor is a stepper motor, right? Yeah. I mean, whether it's a roller or chuck, it's going to work the same no matter what. Katie says, who says I'm sending it back? Yeah, I know. I keep clicking it too. I got a tracker on it. I know where she lives. I'll make a trip up if I have to. Actually, no, I don't know. Katie was just on. She sounds like a fighter, dude. You might have it in for you. Oh, she's a fighter. That's what I like about her. Well, this is super nice, dude. It looks really clean. I really like how smooth everything looks. It's got like nice, like kind of waves to it. Yeah, the colors, the final product. I mean, this is just prototype, so it's not colored. Right. It's gonna be colored orange and black, just like the Ascend is. So it's gonna have splashes of color. It's gonna have milled edges, all the stuff you would typically expect from one of our rotaries. For sure. And do you have to do anything to, like, I'm just looking at this, like this looks like it's like really heavy on one side and really light on the other. Do you have to mount that down to equalize that weight, or will it just sit there like that? It'll just sit there. The way, because the way the motor and everything is configured, it's the weight is about 50-50 on that mount. So you're not really putting any leverage to one side or the other. The main purpose for the base is for when you're doing objects, obviously, if you have heavier objects, things like that, you get rid of that potential like wobble from the flex or whatever on a different type of base. But we're also going to have a base for fibers. The way that's configured, you can reposition the motor and put it vertical, so you can do turntable work with it. Nice. So there's a lot of something that you might like share, maybe like an STL or something for, so that we can literally cut out a table that's rigged up for the spacing of the pins, so that you can literally like just drop it into Lightburn, cut it out, and then you've got like a perfect fit every time. As far as like the turntable part?
Just like the face, right? Because if you're gonna turn it upright and you're gonna put like a piece of wood on it, you want to know where those mounting points are going to be so that you can cut them out and have spots for like screws to keep it together.
Well, the intention with this is because obviously the jaws have multiple holes, is to try to get something, either an adapter or just a straight up purpose made piece for it to bolt straight to those jaws. But there's a guy out there that and I can't remember his name to save my life, but he makes those turntables. He currently has the one for the three jaws, so it's got like 3 holes in it, and then the jaws just grip onto it. And he asked me to get the information on this so he can make a 4 for it as well. But
nice.
Yeah, it'll be pretty simple to add that onto it down the road.
I know that's popping off right now. People are super stoked about that. It's like one of the current trends, you know.
Yeah, and that's really the main reason I did the Chuck, is because obviously Galvos have taken off like wildfire, and Chucks are ultimately better suited for working on a Galvo because of the rapid movements and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's the main reason for the Chuck. Obviously it'll work on everything, so that's why we got, you know, a wide range of things that you can select from in the menu to suit your needs for whatever it is you're doing.
Yeah. Gulf Coast says we would love to have the info as well, so that we can make jigs for it, because I know they're all about jigs and fixtures and stuff. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of like third parties that come in and start building out pre-made stuff for people that don't want to or don't know how to do it. You know, they'll be able to just go online and purchase from third-party sellers the fixtures that they need for the stuff that they're using for their jobs, because that's something we already see people doing with the Chinese ones. So I'm sure that would be even more popular for something like a Rotoboss.
Yeah. People have asked me if I was going to make any, and short answer is no. I mean, there's other people out there like Gulf Coast and some other. There's something Laser Twins, I think it is. You know, they make a bunch of stuff, and it's just I just let them do what they're going to do.
Yeah, I mean, while we've been kind of like beta testing the market, that's been huge for the marketplace. A lot of people have come in and they've just gotten like hands-on with creating that kind of stuff, because a lot of people just can't be bought. Even people that know how to do it, like they have better things to do with their time, and they'd rather just swipe their credit card and have it show up, you know. And
it's one of those. It's just one of those things. It's better. Where's your time better spent? Is your time better spent messing with stuff like that, or is it just better doing what you do? You know. You can do it. It's like being a carpenter. You know. Yeah, I could frame out a house, but I'm a finished carpenter, so why would I do that when I got other stuff to do? Just pay someone else to do the other stuff. So,
well, I think one of the nice things too about like a Rotoboss is that it's going to be a lot more consistent as far as QA goes, because all of those Chinese rotaries they're different. They have different tolerances and different dimensions. Even ones that look similar, you know, end up being different, and designs end up having to be adapted. Like if you buy a part for a fixture that's for the Rotoboss Talon, you don't need to like hope your Talon matches the one the part was designed for. You know, they're just going to fit, and that's going to be really nice too.
Well, the good thing about like with the Talon and everything else that we have, like this will work with NEMA 17s or NEMA 23 motors straight out of the box.
Nice.
Because part of our patents and stuff are the dual purpose mounts, so you could actually put either or in there and it'll work just the same. So that's kind of been our thing from the get-go, is being able to offer that to people, so we can basically offer something to everybody. And now that we have, you know, our Chuck, I think we've basically accomplished that. So
yeah,
that's cool, man.
Yeah, it looks really, really great. How's the how did the boot launch go, by the way?
I still really haven't pushed it. I just kind of put it out there. I'd like to get it in the hands of some people that, that would use it in the fashion that it was designed for, which is kind of like the entry level user.
There it is. Yep.
Because I mean, I can get it in the hands of someone that runs a Thunder and things like that, but realistically, that's not the market it was geared towards. It was geared towards the hobbyist or people just starting out, or those that are not quite sure they want to get into rotary. Because I mean, comparable rotaries in that price range, I mean, they're okay, but I don't think they're to this quality and standard.
Dude, look how thick the blade is on that.
You guys know which ones I'm talking about. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not going to mention names
like,
or anything, but you guys know what I'm talking about.
Even just coming back and looking at this listing now, and I think we talked about this the last time you came on briefly, but like I feel like this would be a big hit for diode users, man.
Yep.
I know that the wiring is wonky compared to something that you would find on like a CO2 laser, but the diode rotary options are still miserable. And if there was like an adapter to use this on like an X-Tool D1 Pro or even like the X-Tool F1, which has like Galvo functionality to it, I feel like that would be a really big hit.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It is adaptable, and that's why we have the ability to put either a NEMA 17 or 23 on there, because I've done that before on my more expensive machines. People have bought the rotary that costs twice as much as their laser.
Right.
But it does the job. Whereas, this is something that I've been thinking about for several years, but I really didn't. To me, at the time, it felt like I was cheapening the brand by coming out with such an inexpensive rotary. I thought people would be like, "Oh, well, this isn't going to be as good." But in reality, the only thing you're really losing is the lead screws, the nice milled edges, things like that. But I mean, there are other differences that make it, not quite as comparable to the bigger machines. But I've tried to pack as much into that machine as far as versatility and capability as I could for the price point that it's at.
I mean, I wouldn't even, cheap is not the word, man, because it's like $500 to $700 is still a solid investment.
That's a whole nother laser for the people.
Yeah, totally. Or two, so it's definitely not like cheap. Definitely less expensive than the larger kind of more professional machines, but I don't think this cheapens the brand at all. I think
I think it's another niche in the market.
Yeah, trying to address every part of the market is vital.
Well, I mean, originally this was all going to be 3D printed and acrylic.
Oh, wow. Like the old school boy.
Yeah, but just trying to keep, and that's one of the things I did to try to not kind of cheapen the brand, I guess, in my head, was to keep it all metal, so it's all the same 6061 billet aluminum. It's all machined. I didn't cut any corners on the material qualities. I just cut down on the bells and whistles that make our bigger, more expensive machines more of an industrial type or commercial type use.
And that's where you keep the quality too. Like when someone picks this thing up, like I can tell you when I got the Ascend in the mail, like, cause I remember I saw the Ascend in Blueprint, you know what I mean? Like I saw the Blueprint form of it and you were like, this thing's coming in. I'm like, oh man, I'm definitely ordering one of those when they come out. And then I ordered it. And when I picked it up, like, dude, it's a beast. Like it's just a beefy boy. And that, I don't know, to me, by the way, if you decide to do this in acrylic, just call it, can I go ahead and name it now? Just the reboot.
Sure, go ahead. The
reboot. There you go.
The reboot.
Because it's literally like the old school OG, and it's the boot. It's the reboot.
Well, I mean, for the time and the money and stuff to print and cut and do all that stuff. First of all, you wouldn't have the quality and performance of this. So it just, and that, like I said, this was like 3 years ago when I came out with this design. And if you know anything about Thunder and their new boot, we got the Roto boot, which is a spin-off or the Roto Bolt,
spin-off,
which is a spin-off of the Roto boot design that I had already. and since I was making the one for Thunder, I figured now's a good time to go ahead and release my personal version, which is the Roto Boot.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to talk about Project Snips? Yeah. So the Rotoboss Ascend is different from like the Junior because it has the scissor lift, right?
Correct.
So
there's other differences.
The lack of the tower there.
What's the benefit of the scissor lift? Is it just for fitment purposes that it's advantageous?
Well, believe it or not, this is what I had envisioned when I first started doing this 4.5 years ago.
Right.
But at the time, I didn't have the ability to make this. So as time progressed, I was able to finally do it. I mean, so there's years of sketches and blueprints and 3D printed parts and pieces and testing and stuff to get this right, because, you know, I wanted a scissor lift, but I wanted it to be solid, and I think Matt can attest to how solid the actual lift mechanism is on the thing.
For sure, dude.
And I didn't want to cut any corners with it. You know, I wanted to really bring something new to the market that was worthy of, you know, being there, for one, and two, a lot of it, because a lot of the laser companies are going to the shorter, faster heads, where the tower can sometimes be of concern,
right,
and or in the way. So by kind of knowing where the market's going with lasers, that's where the Ascend come from. So is basically just heading it off at the pass, you know, as different companies start coming out with these faster, smaller heads and things like that. This will be the solution for that.
Adaptable.
Yeah, because you're going to be that much closer to the material too, right? Unless you have like a 4-inch lens in there, and then head strikes are going to be the issue, right?
Yeah. But with this, I mean, the highest object on this is always going to be whatever you're engraving on.
Right.
So you'll never, as long as you're focused into the cup or whatever you're working on, you'll never have to worry about hitting anything.
Right.
The other good thing about this too is you can take the heel wheel off, and you can also take the clamp bracket off, and you can actually lay stuff clear across it without any obstruction.
Like a baseball bat.
Yep. Like for instance, I have my Odin 32. The Odin 32 is 32 inches wide. Well, I had a 34 inch baseball bat, and the box itself is 34 inches. The engravable area is not, but I was able to put the Ascend, and there's actually a video on the YouTube channel of doing a bat laying across the top of the rotary.
Right.
So I mean, there's a lot of adaptations in the works for this, and this is basically what our brand is going to build all of our new advancements and improvements on, which kind of leads into what you're wanting to talk about.
Yeah, please. So what could be better than one scissor lift, but two, right? So like, why add the second one? What is the purpose? What will that allow me to do that this can't?
Well, like the Rotoboss, it'll allow you to do a lot wider variety of things. And because the whole point of the Rotoboss was because years ago, you remember, everything had to be turned around. If it had a smaller neck than it had a body, you had to turn it around to level it.
Right.
Well, that's why the Rotoboss was created. Really, is to allow you to keep your clamping ability while also being able to adjust that side that needs to be adjusted. Because really, the first thing that came to mind for me when doing that was like beer bottles, wine bottles, things like that. Yeah. Where you have to have a very drastic offset. So that's what that was. And obviously with the Ascend, you know, I can't leave well enough alone. I mean, I think I got 7 different rotaries now. So, I mean, so obviously can't leave well enough alone. I thought, okay, well, how about we just try 2 of them? So
yeah, and that doesn't sound, I mean, this can't be too far off, right? You've mastered the first scissor lift, so what's adding a second one, right? I mean, it should be fairly straightforward. I don't make rotaries. I don't know. I'm asking.
Yeah, the Ascend was a proof of concept, basically.
Mm-hmm.
before doing that.
Right.
Because it's always been, well, not always been, but for the majority of the time, it's been a priority is to get that done. But I wanted to get the Ascend out there and kind of proof of concept as far as the scissor lift to see how people would like, because like I said, most people that hear scissor lift, they're like, oh God, I'm running as fast as I can away from it,
Right.
because it's junk.
That thing is solid.
One of my favorite rotaries that I ever got to use was one, like a proprietary one that came with the Epilog. What is it? The dual source one. I don't know why I'm blanking on the name. This is stupid. But
M2 or Fusion?
Yeah, the Fusion. Thank you.
The Fusion Pro.
The Fusion Pro, dude, has such a good rotary, and it's a scissor lift rotary. It's a scissor lift rotary. It's similar to the Ascend, but there's never been anything like this for the controllers that we use. It was one of my favorite rotary ever. I kind of like, I don't know, when I learned about scissor lift rotaries, I never had that like fear of them instilled in me. Yeah, so I'm just like 100% hyped on this. I think this is dope. So is it almost like the Rotoboss Ascend will be the new Junior, and then there will be like a bigger Ascend that will be like the new 2.0?
Pretty much. The Junior will eventually get phased out. The
Rotoboss will take its place.
Yeah, the Rotoboss won't go anywhere. It'll always be, because I mean, it's the namesake of the brand, so
right.
It'll never go anywhere.
So what you're telling me is the Ascend will ascend.
Will you have like maybe so it'll be like Ascend and like Ascend Pro or something like that? Ascend XL, whatever dumb name.
So I'll come up with something stupid for it.
Nice.
I'm sure. But
the double Ascend.
And you got those pictures, right? Can you throw those up?
Yeah. Let me dig for those really quick.
Just to give people a visual of what we're talking about here.
Yeah, for sure.
And to tell people who've never used the Ascend, I know a couple of people who've got them, and a couple of people in chat have actually said how useful it is. To me, what's really nice about it, and I know we've already talked about the versatility, it's the fact that when I've got like 8 different jobs lined up sitting on the table, instead of sitting there having to tweak and mess with everything, it's so fast to literally slide the thing to where it's got to be, lift it up, and it's done in like seconds, man. It just keeps you moving, and it never fails. The thing's a beast.
Yeah, I've gotten some really good feedback from it. There are a couple things in the, I wouldn't call it the second generation of it, but the next batch that's coming out, we've made some small tweaks to it based on the feedback that we've gotten from people.
Look at this thing. Holy cow.
Yeah. So it looks like the big trick here was not just to raise the rollers, but you also have to raise your motor configuration with them, right?
Yeah. That, I mean, you like you said earlier, what's one scissor lift? What's the difference between that and making a second one? Well, there's quite a bit.
Motor. Yeah,
there's quite a bit of engineering that had to go into this to get it to function right. And the way it's kind of set up is the motor's on the backside mainly for counterbalance or counterweight to keep the mechanism true.
Right.
So it's not like sitting at a upward or downward angle.
Yeah, it's not cockeyed
because of the weight and everything.
And is this configuration better than like maybe one where you would use a tensioner and let the belt kind of just tension up as you raised it without raising the motor assembly, or is this way more efficient?
Well, I mean, this thing raises almost 7 inches high.
Oh my gosh!
So
yeah, that's what I was trying.
Not only can you level both, not only can you level both ends, but you can also bring your material to the laser. So if you have a machine that doesn't have an adjustable bed, you can set it in the bottom, and you can actually use this rotary to raise the whole thing up to your head level.
That's awesome.
So same thing with the Rotoboss. Rotoboss does the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
with
this
other side, this is the other view here.
By the way, I know it's like such a small thing to mention, but looking at that, like anybody who's like, my God, that thing is going to be so heavy it'll fall over, or whatever thought you're thinking, the magnets on the bottom of this thing, I swear to God, you could like lift your freaking laser off the floor with them. Like whenever it goes in, you literally just hear it go ka-chunk, and I'm like, I have to like slide it sideways to break one of the things so I can finally get it up. So
and this and
awesome.
the Ascend ultimately have base designs for Galvo lasers too, right? Because those are just big aluminum beds, so you're not magnetizing anything to that. So,
with this one, it's a little bit harder to use on a Galvo because obviously the size of it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you notice on the scissor lift for the slave wheels, I mean, when it's mounted in the bed with the magnets and everything, I mean, you're like 2 or 3 millimeters off the deck.
Right.
So, and you're below the main rail, which you would normally fasten that main rail to the Galvo bed, which in this one you wouldn't be able to do that.
Right.
So no, this wouldn't be really conducive to use on a Galvo bed necessarily.
Because then you'd have to essentially you'd have to put like risers under it, right, to make that clearance, to create that clearance. Yeah,
and that's doable. Like you could swap out the 2020 extrusions on both ends for the feet, and you could put 2040s in there or 2060s.
Right, and that would create that.
And it would create that lift and difference. So yes, it technically yes it could function, but you would have to do something like that, which is easy. I mean, it's just like along the bottom there, you see the 3 bolts.
Yep.
You got 3 bolts.
Slap the new one in.
They're just T-nuts that slide into the track of the extrusion.
Right.
So you could easily take the 2020s off and put a 2060 on each end, and you'd be good to go. So yes, it would be a fairly simple thing. I don't plan on offering it in that configuration, but it would be very easy to add that to it.
Would you? I guess you probably wouldn't have to. I'm sure it's easily available, but like even just offering like a kit where you just sell the extrusion, and then like let people do it if they want to do it, kind of a thing.
Yeah,
but I'm sure you could just go to like McMaster Car or whatever, right? And they've just got it.
Or you could just go on Amazon and pick up a 3-foot stick of 2060 for $30, $40.
Right.
Cut it to the length you need, because nothing needs to be drilled or tapped. You just cut it to the length you need, and that's
work it in.
Done. Yeah. So I mean, you could do it fairly cheap. Like I said, I'm not planning on offering anything like that because that's not the target market for this rotary. But it definitely could be. And the same thing with the Junior, the Rotoboss, same exact thing. You could do the exact same thing to it and technically use it on a fiber.
That's good. That you're just leaving me videos to make for my channel. I'm fine with that.
Got to give you something to do.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you've done everything else. This looks really complete. Do you have a ETA on like a prototype or when we might see a video of this? Because that would be super cool.
It was kind of put on the back burner, so I just readdressed it today. So we just went into production on the pieces that I need to make
I won't hold you to anything. Just curious.
But I'd say probably by the end of February I'll have something.
Oh man, that's fast. Yeah, that's right around the corner.
Yeah, and that's. I mean, my manufacturer, I love them. I mean, I'm like I think their second top customer.
I'm sure that you'll be in the first spot sooner than later.
So I mean, they usually they'll
get things moving.
Well, they'll shut down a line just to run my stuff. Like they'll shut down a complete job just to run my stuff.
Good.
Which kind of blew my mind. I never thought that would ever happen. But
in the grand scheme of things too, when you're talking about big production runs, 2 months for something and to get it logistics and all sorted out, and that's like really fast.
Yeah.
For
they're really good
product.
at shipping. A lot of stuff I have, I'll usually like first run, even with the Chuck, everything's getting air shipped, and then after that things will start coming by boat or however they come. But I paid, I don't know if you guys have air shipped anything from overseas, but I paid a pretty penny to get the stuff airlifted instead of
when it's big and bulky or really heavy, it's a problem.
Yeah. I mean, generally all of the Galvo lasers that you buy directly from China are shipped air. They don't typically put those on boats. So ka-ching.
Yeah, it's not cheap at all.
No.
So I try to avoid that as much as possible, but like I did with the Roto Boot and the Roto Bolt.
Yeah.
I had everything airshipped just so I had it quicker. But yeah, they're really good at turning stuff around for me.
Yeah. And Kyle, we're at like 40 minutes right now, so I wanted to give Kyle a chance. I see that he's been starring things over there, so I want to give Kyle a chance to get through some of these questions too, so make sure that we answer everybody. So go ahead, Kyle, let him rip.
So Mr. Manzy Pants says, will Rotoboss be releasing just a chuck that will fit on existing rotary setups?
Yes, if you go to the website, there's two separate categories. There's the combos, which is I call it the standalone with the base, and then the standalone, or not the standalone, but the Daredevil, and then we have the second one, which is the Chuck standalone for Galvos and existing Rotoboss Juniors and Extend and Rotoboss.
Yep, right here.
That there you'll get basically you'll get it as configured right there, where it has the mount plate that mounts to the rotary and then the chuck itself, or you can get it as the chuck with the mount base for the Galvo, which I don't have a picture of currently. So yes, you can get it just the chuck and to mount it to existing rotaries or to your Galvo.
That's really
bed.
cool.
The setup on that looks pretty straightforward. So
just a couple screws, it looks like.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just there's two big thumb screws on the back there.
Oh, nice.
You just take those out and pop it off. You can take it over to your Galvo, put it on the Galvo mount, and it attaches just the same with those two screws.
Nice.
So it's a really quick and easy transition. You know, and we've got adapters for the chucks for dog bowls and things like that. If you've watched our release video, you know, we're doing a dog bowl and a Thunderbolt laser. So it'll do all that stuff as well.
Nice.
It's impressive, dude.
Cool. Next question we have from Cuban: would the chuck work with the fiber or just the CO2? And yes, it will.
Yes.
Yeah, we've kind of covered that. Yeah, it'll if you have a laser that runs on Lightburn, EasyCat, or already works, we can get a setup that'll fit your machine, whether it's Galvo, CO2, or diode, or whatever. We can make it work. And even if you don't see the selection on the website, I do ask that you just contact us, because obviously I don't know every single laser that's out there.
Right.
So like for Galvos, we just generalized it by saying Galvo 4-pin, you know, because that's pretty much all the Galvos for the most part. There are some 5 pins, and like OMG was using parallel ports for the printer ports for theirs. But I
mean, people like you guys can use like 3-pin for people with 3-phase drivers too, right?
Yeah, if you have it, and that's like I said, if for some reason, well, 3-pins first off aren't that common, so we don't have anything set up on the website for that, because not that we really need that much more information from you.
You should email though, like reach out, call, email.
Yeah. Sure. If you have something that's not listed on the website, it doesn't mean that we don't offer it. It's just like I said, I don't know every single machine out there and every single configuration.
Right.
But with a little bit of talking back and forth and checking some things out, we can definitely find the right combination to work with any of your machines.
Yeah.
Well, and by the way, if you're like just checking out our channel, or you wanted to find out more about Jason and Rotoboss, I actually went and visited his factory, his shop, and go check out that video, because one of the great things about being there the whole time filming was when you call, it's him that picks up. It's not a salesperson. It's not somebody who doesn't know an answer. He makes it like it's him. I think we had to stop filming like 6 or 7 times, and I'm like, oh my god, you're like, sorry, dude. And I was like, it's all good. I mean, it was, but it's just one of those things. Yeah. And the Ascend unboxing is
a glimpse inside Rotoboss rotary attachments.
Yeah, and it's really cool.
Yeah, Matt actually got to walk around here and really kind of get into the space, and that was a cool watch for sure. It's a good video. Only 1.1 thousand views. This one's Underwatch. So make sure you hit the share button on that one and share it.
Yeah,
with
it
And
was
I think
fun
I think
filming
he
it,
even
too.
catches. Yeah, he caught me on the phone there.
I literally
Well,
had
that's the
Sammy,
point,
like,
though. Yeah, that's
He's,
the best
he's
part.
like, he's like, you're on the phone. I'm gonna go walk around. I'm like, all right, go ahead.
he's like, just don't film me. I'm like, yeah, okay. But
No,
what's really cool though is
I
Yeah, go
try to
ahead.
be as available as possible. You know, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. But
well,
you
but
know.
like it was good though because there was a guy who literally was trying to call, like he didn't understand. Like in that moment, he bought a Thunder. I don't know if you remember that guy who called that day, but he bought a Thunder laser, and he's like, "I'm trying to buy a rotary, and I was seeing if I should buy it directly from you to help support you." And you're like, "No, we make it for them." Like, and the guy was like, So should I buy it from you? And it was like, "Oy." But you know, either way. Go ahead,
I just want to point out really quick that Jason Reif is one of the most alpha male, hoorah, red-blooded Americans I know. And he's wearing fucking safety glasses while he's working with this goddamn laser machine. So
Dude,
if you think that you are manlier than Jason, check yourself before you wreck yourself and put your fucking safety glasses on.
Dude,
Sorry.
I don't. That's
story.
that's the UV laser, and dude, I do not play with that thing.
Dude,
Yeah, don't mess with the laser, man.
the first week
the
I
most
had the
dangerous.
UV laser. Oh, look,
It'll win.
That's
It'll
one
win
of the
every
old
time.
acrylic ones. That's
Yep,
the old,
there's
that's
that
the 3D
old-
printed
yeah.
ones in acrylic. That's literally sitting on my shelf right now. I've
That's a
still got one of
throwback
old
right
reds.
there. Yep.
Yep.
So that's
Super
where
cool.
he started, and that's where you're at now. Is the double scissor lift ascend, double death talon, like fucking crazy monster.
Yeah.
And so, but all the machines are so. Look at the machine metal. That's what I love about it. But
Yep.
anyways.
Yep.
So, anyways, check out that video if you're looking to see more about his different ones, because literally, I think you had 5 out of the 7 that you have now in production, and we kind of were talking about what was coming up. So that was only what, 6 months ago, or is that a year ago? I mean, no, 10 months ago. 10 months
Yeah,
ago.
it was quite some time, but yeah. After the dual adjusting ascend, I don't know where I'm going to go from there because I'm not out of ideas, but I don't want to.
You put
I don't wanna
put a screen
just-
on it like a good American. You put a screen. You give it some speakers. Maybe
Well, I've got
Bluetooth.
Bluetooth for sure.
I've got the Autoboss,
The
which I actually
Autoboss.
have.
What?
Yeah, I actually got a video on the YouTube if you want to see. If you can find
Autoboss, roll out.
It,
Like
it,
all I
it-
can think about.
when it runs off a GRBL, so you open up a separate instance of Lightburn. You can load it with your preset coordinates the video shows it. It auto homes when you start it up. It's got homing switches and all that stuff on it.
Good Lord.
You tell it you're doing a 40-ounce water bottle. It'll after auto homes, it'll go up and down and adjust everything, and all you gotta do is throw your bottle in it.
Dude, that's
And
All
Like
I
you
can
could-
think of is like Autoboss.
pull
out.
up pull up that video. You can show
I'm
a
not
quick
going to
clip of
do it, Jason. I'm not going to do it because I want
let-
to give people a reason to go sub. So go.
There you
The
go.
link is already in the description. Go down to the description. Click the link to go over to Jason's channel and type Autoboss into the search bar. I'm sure it'll come up.
I see John saying, "Dude, you need to need a lift kit and loud exhaust system
yeah, big ass
and
tires.
big ass tires." It's funny he says that because I was just getting ready to say I'm actually looking to make a radio controlled Rotobus.
Take it to the RC.
I mean, just a gimmick, you know. I got to do something with my time. I got so much crap rolling around in my head. I got to do something with it. But
There we go.
But yeah.
Autoboss rotary. I'm not going to click it. Here it is. I just typed
You
Autoboss
have to make a transformer video for that,
into
bro.
the search.
yeah. Yeah, there's
there it
another
is,
there's
the
there's
Autoboss.
another video just showing it on the table. That that may or may not be it.
It's
But
ridiculous.
there's one in there
already.
where it just runs through all the features of it and how it works. But yeah,
That's
Out of
we made
line.
it. We made up some kit. I did the programming on the GRBL controller and everything for it. So I mean, it's pretty cool. It's definitely a geeky thing for sure.
Now you know what your next laser has. Your next one has to be Megatron, dude. Just saying. Straight up.
Katie says, "Is it crazy that I want a bigger laser to use with the Ascend? You guys are the biggest enablers."
It's literally our
Sounds about right.
job. We get paid.
Yeah.
Well, now you got to do pool cues. You better go ahead and get the 3855. What are you gonna do?
Yes,
Um,
it's the best thing too is I get paid to do what I love. You know what I mean?
That's pretty cool.
You can't do better than that.
No,
Speaking
we
of-
definitely know what you mean.
Yep. Actually,
Vid server says, will the
The
Rotoboss Talon work
no, I
with
was-
the Thunder Rotobolt? And I'm pretty sure that's Katie's setup.
yeah,
right?
Katie's doing some testing for me, and she just set
Yep.
it up to do the bolt. But like I said, if you look at the initial trailer that I put out, or not the trailer, but the actual full video, I've got clips of doing different things, and a dog bowl in the bolt was one of them.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
Um,
impressive, dude. That's got a more shallow Z depth, but still pretty decent.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw this question. So, will it work with a 4-pin to the AP, which is the flat 4-pin?
Phoenix.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. We make them for APs all the time. You know, we can make a pigtail to go from the 4-pin to the flat as well. So
yeah, Jason,
and that
wants
goes
to,
that goes for any of
harass
them.
me
Like,
about where his Rotoboss review is, but I in turn need to harass you about where my 4-pin to GX16 pin for the Mira 9 is. I need that, the hot swapper.
did I
Between
not?
the two of those.
Did you not get the 5-pin originally, or did you get the 4-pin?
I have the
That was for
4-pin
your OM Tech or
for
something,
the
wasn't that
OM Tech.
originally?
Yeah, but I need a 6-pin for the Mira 9 so I can flippity flop.
I got them sitting on the shelf.
The
I'll get to it
Ranger,
one
the
day.
Light Object Ranger has the normal 4-pin too. So
Yeah.
I need to
on
do
that.
an Ascend review. Like I've had it for almost a year now, and I've literally, I think I've done almost everything you can do on it.
that would be a good one for the channel for sure.
Yeah,
Speaking of adapters, realistically, you could probably do an adapter for pretty much anything as long as it's the right phase, right?
Correct.
So as long as it's a 2-phase machine and a 2-phase machine that they want an adapter for.
Yeah. And the only
Or
exception,
three
the only
phase.
exception to that would be the Thunder, and they use not a proprietary, but they use a specific motor which is not compatible with anything else.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
different story.
But if you have a regular 2-phase, like say you have an OM Tech, and then you have a Hyocean fiber or whatever, and they both run on 4-pin, you can just swap them back and forth. Or if you have an Eon and you have an OM Tech, but you want to use it on both, we can make an adapter that goes from the 5 to a 4-pin. So I mean, there's things we can do for that.
Point out too, though, like just because the plug fits into the hole doesn't mean that the work is done. What if you're used to running like 2.5 amps on one setup, and then you move over to a different setup, and that driver set up to deliver 4 amps, toast your motor. So like you have to do some work to make sure that your stepper drivers are in sync too.
In most cases, like a lot of our stepper motors are 4 amp, and with stepper motors you can go to at least half. So you never want to go less than half because you can burn up the driver or the motor, but you can go half, which most of them run somewhere around 2.8 to 3.6 amps. So you're not really in an issue there. The issue is when you go from, if you're using a 2-phase NEMA 23 on like an X tool or something like that runs on NEMA 17, and you try to run that motor on that machine, you're going to damage either the machine or the motor on the rotary. So
and again, I'm just throwing it out there. The customer support, because like I bought mine. In case people don't know, like nothing was sent to me. I literally ordered it when I saw it, and I was like, I got to get one of those because I had the old red. That thing's beat up. But what was really cool is I literally asked Jason, "Hey, what's the right one for me?" He told me, all right, go to the back of your machine, look down here at this thing here, just FaceTime me. And literally I was like down there on my hands and knees showing him, and he's like, okay, you need this one. And that was it.
Yeah.
So if you're sitting here listening to this going, what the hell are they talking about? He will tell you. That's it.
Yeah. And that's why that has a lot to do with why I answer the phone. And that's why I don't have anybody that knows about rotaries handle questions because I want to I want to have an answer when you ask the question.
Yeah.
And not only that, a lot of times, like the other night, I was talking about rotary stuff, helping somebody out, and we spent like 3 hours on the phone talking about just different business stuff. Granted, most calls start with the rotary or something like that, but they usually end up with, oh, since I have you, do you happen to know how the laser works? And it's like, yeah. What's your problem? So, and I like interacting with people. I like helping people more than anything. I mean, the money's okay, but for me, it's more about helping people out, and I get to do that in great detail by having all the rotaries and stuff to help people with their businesses and quit throwing away stuff from damaged material or wasted time, things like that. So,
Yeah.
And then I wanted to put out too, if anybody's, I don't know if we're towards the end, I know we're coming up close on it, but I wanted to put out about the road trip this year, if you don't
Please.
mind.
Go nuts. Man. Your show.
So if anybody saw my YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or any of that stuff, you've seen that released a video letting everybody know that we're going to Australia for our first of 2 Rotoboss road trips that we do every year. So if you follow every year for the past 3 years, I go around the country visiting people, helping them out, and just talking to customers. It doesn't matter if you have my rotary or somebody else's rotary or whatever laser. It doesn't matter. I don't ask for any money. I don't want anything. I just want to help out if you need help or if you just want to hang out, say hi. But we're going to be going to Australia from the 9th to the 20th of January. And we're going to be all the way from Sunshine Coast all the way down to Sydney in that area during that time. So if any of you guys are out there and you follow me on Facebook, just give me a shout. Let me know where you're at, and I'll see if I can make it work and get in there and see you.
Yeah,
Awesome,
but
dude.
always have snacks for Jason. Why not, right?
You
What's
better
that?
you better vlog that, man. You better not just do it. Like you have to document it and get that online.
A little bit
that we
anyways.
can
Well, see,
live
that-
vicariously.
Well, that's my plan, but I planned on doing that when I did my trailer build too, and that didn't happen. Because I'm just one of those people, like when I want to get it done, I
Start
just want to
doing
get it done.
Dude, me too. Me too. I mean, when we all went to LBX, I was like, man, I'm gonna shoot so much background footage. We're gonna have vlogs for every day showing behind the scenes. And when we left, I had 3 or 4 clips maybe of extra.
Day one,
I was
when we
just
had all
there,
that
dude.
energy.
Yeah, they were all on day one. Yeah.
I mean, I got the intention to do that, but we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna probably do it and send footage back to my video guy so he can start building that. So by the time I get back, we'll basically be ready to release it. So
you ought to get the DJI Osmo little hand recorder I brought over to your place to record to the warehouse.
I got the dual recorder that plugs into my phone or my camera or whatever, and it's got two wireless mics. It's kind of like the DJI ones.
That's cool.
But it's a different brand. But that's what I've been using in my most recent videos. And that thing
Alex
is
told me,
phenomenal.
if you think it's cool, it probably is, and people want to see it.
Yeah.
That's it.
True.
Yeah, I'll definitely try to keep people abreast of what I'm doing. I kind of don't like doing that because it feels like I'm bragging, and I don't want it to seem like I'm bragging because I'm getting to do this stuff.
No, you're sharing, man.
Because obviously, my customers help support that, and
That's
I feel
literally
that-
you're describing
But
how our entire business
It's
operates
outreach.
right
That's
now.
what you're doing. You're
Yeah.
I know, but it's just me personally. It just feels that way.
now. If you started off the video that's like, "Hey guys, sucks to be you. I'm in Australia, bitches." Then that's probably not good. But if you're like, "Hey, I'm here to meet my customers who make all of this possible," that's a way different vibe, dude.
Yeah, definitely.
There's 2 questions I've seen, by the way, that we haven't clicked on.
Yep.
Sargon just asked it, and I think it's the second one. I know just because 2 people have asked it, I think it's worth throwing in at the end about the epilogue. So can you make some mods for epilogue rotaries, i.e. holder for water bottle champagne flutes? Also, someone had asked earlier, I can't remember who, do your rotaries work with epilogue? Do you have pins that you can pin into epilogue?
We've been working on that for a while, and the short answer is no, because Epilogue's pretty tight-lipped about their stuff. What I will say is with the Chuck in particular and the different mounting configurations that we have available, you should be able to take the motor off of an existing rotary and put it onto it and use it. But as far as having a out-of-the-box, ready-to-use unit for Epilogue or Trotec or any of them guys, I don't. I wish I did, But they're very, like I said, tight-lipped about their tech, and obviously they make $3,500 on a rotary, and
Yeah,
someone
they don't wanna give that up.
someone used to $1,400 for one of mine, and now they got to pay 35, 4,000, whatever. People are going to be like, no. But, I mean, just being honest, I mean, in my opinion, that's kind of how I would feel if I saw something like that.
Well, yeah, totally.
But you're buying their tech realistically. I mean, because they have their own control boards. They have I forget what they call them. It's
like all the different.
It's like an intermediary board.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's there's so much stuff that goes into their rotary as far as tech wise and stuff like that, which is kind of overkill in my opinion. But the way they do it.
Famous last words for Mr. I am going to need new
I don't know what
projects
else to do.
over here. Yeah, well, mine's going to have hydraulics. Woo!
All I got left to do is travel to Australia now.
Yeah.
By the way, real quick, one more thing. If you haven't gone, I don't know if you can pull up his website or not. One more thing that is always overlooked from his website is, and the things he makes are the really cool, different tools. Like right behind me, I've got this guy. I got the 3D printed one. I think these are made out of aluminum now, aren't they?
Yeah.
So this is a Galvo setup for cups, basically. So I was actually using this last night. I cranked out 30 cups. But that, all the different tools he makes, like that, the hold downs for Boss Laser and different things on the with the knife beds, the wheels, all those little tools. And that's what Sargon was kind of talking about. Can you make some mods? There's so many things, like if your rotary is not working and you do lots of mugs, there's the handle extension. There's so many things on there that just make quality of life easier, and it's worth supporting those efforts. Cause that's like he was saying, it just the stuff that rolls around his head. He's like, this is stupid. Let me fix it better. And so, cause I think that's what you told me, is I want to fix it better.
That's where a lot of the stuff on there, as far as the parts and accessories come from. It's like, I see people, because I keep track of the posts and the questions and things like that. So I try to take posts that people have and things that I've experienced and just try to make things better, I guess, or more user friendly. Like they got the pigtails for the different lasers and stuff there. But yeah, so I mean, I'm not by any means done, with the dual Ascend, but at this point, there's a lot of things I could do, but I don't want to step on other people's toes, because there's a lot of people making other stuff that I definitely could make. And the only reason I would make anything that would compete necessarily with somebody else's stuff is if I can make it better. If I can see a way to make it better, I'll do it. But I'm not just going to make it just to make it, like the honeycomb bed pins that people make. I don't know how many times people are you going to come out with some? Are you going to come out with some? It's like, I don't really have a way to make it better at the moment. So I'm not going to step on other people's toes, because I've got my hands full. I mean, I got more stuff, because not only do I have the rotaries, but I have a full-fledged business, laser engraving, vinyl graphics, things like that. So I have a full-fledged business aside from the rotaries. So I've got a lot of stuff going on. I'll never take my
couple full-time hustles.
Yeah. I mean, I'll never take my attention away from the laser community, because I mean, without them, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. I wouldn't have what I have now. And
you'd be visiting Canada. Oof.
Yeah, I've been there. So I mean, if there's people that have ideas or problems, or they can't find a solution, I'm always willing to help. And that goes for the rotaries too. Some of the parts that I make, like the mug spacers and things like that, are still plastic. People ask me why. In short, it's because it's something that I can modify quickly to address a concern or issue, and with those, it's not, those parts that are made of plastic are not that critical, but they are beneficial in many ways. So if you have any of my rotaries and you have any suggestions, like, hey, I'm trying to do this, can you make something to make this easier? And of course, like I said, I can't ever leave well enough alone. So I'm always happy to do that, because in the end, if I'm making your life easier, that's what matters the most to me is making sure you're taken care of. So don't ever hesitate to get a hold of me, ask a question. My phone number is on every rotary that I send out, and I mean that with the most sincere and in the most sincere way that I could possibly say. And same goes for if you have any concerns, issues, or if you need something that might help you make it that much better for what you're doing, just let me know. I'll be happy to help.
Imagine if Jason came on the show and he was just like, "Oh yeah, I guess if you have a fucking question, you can call me. I'll try to pick up and answer it, but I don't know. No guarantees." Shout out to Sargon, longtime viewer.
Thanks,
Sargon.
Sargon.
Merry Christmas, dude. Thank you so much.
Oh, this is the last one
there.
before Christmas. That's right.
We're gonna very quickly burn through the last two questions here.
Speed run.
Clank says, "Has anybody lazed a 40-quart steamer pot?"
Nope. Jesus.
And yeah, that's massive. For one, that's 10 gallons, U.S. gallons anyway. And I imagine it would depend on if you want to do that on the rotary.
You could do that on the Ascend easily.
Yeah, as long as the handles don't go above like the lip, because you would need the lip to ride on the the wheels. But
oh yeah.
Steven wants to see Underglow on the Ascend.
Oh, nice.
And Mike
so
says,
2009.
"Do you guys have a video coming out on the Light Object Titan?"
Yeah, I opened tabs for that to answer that question. We don't, because I spent a very long time talking to Marco the last time we were out there about what direction he's moving in, and he's actually going to be eliminating some of the lasers that they carry to focus in and kind of refine their selection, because they have a lot of overlap. And the Titan is one of the ones that is on the short list to be locked. So we didn't waste our time while we were there recording videos about that. Now, these videos have been shot for a long time. They're waiting on me to essentially record voiceovers, including like specs and my impressions and things like that. We have all the video footage, but I need to add the meat to it. That said, these are the lasers you will see us putting out in-depth videos on that were filmed on location over at Marco's. The Ranger 3, which I have at the shop, sitting there in the shop. It's a great machine. The Falcon, which is their 900 by 600. The Legend, which is like the Falcon Pro, so 1200 by 900. And then the Saturn II, this would be the alternative to the Titan. They do the same exact thing, but the Saturn II has a bunch of quality of life improvements, and I think it's even less expensive. So you'd be looking at the Saturn II. I'm 99% sure. Actually, yes, now I'm sure, because I'm thinking about what we recorded. Saturn II is staying, the Titan is going. So last I heard, don't quote me on that. I would reach out to Light Object and confirm, call Joel or whatever. I'm sure Joel or Mindy will pick up the phone and you can ask them, but 99% sure you want to be looking at Saturn if the Titan is something you're seriously interested in. So that's that. That's what we recorded while we were there. It will be a priority for me again. Hopefully we can kind of reassess where those videos are at when we're all bored in January during the slow season. Also, no podcast next week because it'll be the day after Christmas. So Merry Christmas. Don't show up next week. We won't be here.
Spend time with your families, y'all.
Yeah, do that. And then what was the other thing? The week after that Tuesday, I'd encourage you all to come back. We're going to have like a big year-end recap. Maybe have some special visitor guests on and talk about what we got done last year and what we want to get done in the year ahead. We do these every year. I think this will be our third year doing it now. So if you want to join us for that, I highly encourage you guys to come by. It's usually a pretty fun time, and we all get to hang out, and you guys get to give input on what you want to see, which is always important. So that'll be the week after next Tuesday. It's next Tuesday, Christmas. We will not be here. Don't come. After that, that Tuesday, 9:00, we'll be here. Year recap, roadmap. Okay. Jason, thanks so much for coming on, dude. I really appreciate you always popping by whenever you have news. Any closing thoughts before we roll out?
Not really. If you don't know where we're at, I can't even think of my own website. RotaryAttachments.com. You can get a hold of me there. Check out Facebook, YouTube. It's all Rotor Boss, Rotary Attachments. And like I said, if you ever have any questions, always feel free to reach out to me. Enjoy the holidays. Be safe. Spend time with your family. And we'll see you sometime next year.
Throw another
Appreciate
shrimp on
you,
the
man.
Barbie.
That's great. And Kyle, you got something to close us out with today?
I do, yes. So sad news. Steven brought up, can anyone do a shout out for Mayhem Laser? His shop burned down last night. Yeah, sad news. So I do want to pull that up. Mayhem Laser has been a long time member of the community. I don't know exactly what happened other than what's said in this article. So I guess the shop burned down. He had product in it. He had customer product in it that was brought to him for engraving.
Oh, man.
But as far as I know, nobody was injured as far as I know, which is the most important thing. Things can be replaced. People can't, right? So firstly, I hope everyone's continuing to be okay in that situation. But he has a GoFundMe. So I will link his Facebook post and the GoFundMe. And if you can give, cool. And if you can't give, that's okay too. But I do want to mention it because he is a long-term member of the community, and we hope he's well.
Yeah. If you guys don't know, GoFundMe works differently from things like Kickstarter. Even if they don't hit their donation goal, they get to keep everything that they make. So even if you don't give a significant amount, like literally $1, like that's $1 they'll get. So GoFundMe is a lot easier on people that way. So don't feel like you have to donate with the goal in mind. If you have an extra $1 or $5 or whatever, that would probably be making a big difference for them. We'll help get Mayhem Laser back up and running. So I'll pop over there after the show, Kyle. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think that's all we've got, guys. Jason, one last time, dude. Thank you so much for being here. It's always great having you on, just shooting the shit around.
Thanks for having me.
And we will see you guys after Christmas for the recap and the roadmap. So, love every single one of you.
See you in the next year.
See you in the next year. That was me being Matt.
Pew, pew, pew. I'm Wonder Woman.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Number one show if you like death spirals.
Ta-da!